Okay. Ina alhamdulillah, wassalat, wassalam ala wa rasulullah. I want to welcome everybody to our series on the sacred bonds of marriage. The sacred bonds of marriage. And we have been discussing that part of marriage that many do not like to talk about, and then many do like to talk about. And that part of marriage is polygamy. And I want you guys to, again, understand that polygamy is not an obligation. Nowhere does it say that a man is obligated to marry more than one woman, nor does it say anywhere that a woman is obligated to be a part of that. And I want to also emphasize, because I received an email from someone earlier today saying that there's blessings. There's nothing. I want you guys to understand. We hear all of this nonsense. Some of the new shahadas will come to me and say, Sister Layla, I was told that if I cover my face and wear gloves as a woman, that makes me closer to Allah and I'm getting more blessings. Who said that? Allah didn't say that. The Prophet didn't say that. None of the companions said that. Or they'll come to me and say, oh, Sister Layla, because I'm practicing polygamy, I'm getting more blessings and I'm closer to Allah. We have to stop doing that. Allah is clear. He tells us in the beautiful Hadith Qudsi that we narrate a lot here at Sunnahfollowers. Allah says, my servant gets close to me by, first of all, fulfilling the obligations I have imposed upon him or her. So Allah tells us that the way to get close to him is by doing the obligations, not the things that you don't have to do. So Allah didn't mention anything about women covering their faces and hands. And I told you guys, the Prophet's wives didn't cover their faces and hands either. So do you think that you're going to be better than the Prophet's wives because you choose to walk around with gloves on and a mask over your head? That Allah doesn't care about that. Allah says the way to get close to him is by fulfilling the obligations, praying those 5 daily prayers, leaving out the house with the only thing showing as your face and hands. And then Allah says, my servant will continue to get closer to me until he or she earns my love by doing the voluntary deeds. The voluntary deeds, which are the voluntary prayers, the voluntary fasts, giving in charity voluntarily. That does not mention, again, things that we are not obligated to do, that Allah did not mention as being something to do. So don't get it twisted, Muslims around the world. Just because you choose to do something doesn't mean that because you're doing something that Allah did not require, nor does Allah ask of, nor does the Prophet mention the greatness of it, that all of a sudden you're better, because you're not. As Allah says, outside of those two things, the only thing that impresses him is your taqwa, your consciousness of him, and the good deeds that you do. So don't get it twisted. This is the problem today, guys. We have deviated so far away from Islam. Most Muslims today are not practicing the religion that the Prophet Muhammad came with. They have innovated. They have deviated. Islam has become strange. As the Prophet said, as the later generations appear, Islam will become distorted. It will become strange. It will become ugly even. And unfortunately, that's Islam today. Islam is ugly. Islam is strange. Islam is distorted because we don't know the Sunnah. We have deviated away from the traditional Islam. And what is the traditional Islam? The Prophet said the traditional Islam is what I am upon, what my companions are upon, not anyone else. So if you guys want to learn how to get close to Allah, you need to learn what the Prophet said to do to get close to Allah. He didn't say because you got 4 wives, you close to Allah. Because guess what? The Arabs used to have hundreds of wives. Before Islam, they had hundreds. They had harems of wives. Your wives ain't got nothing to do with that. It's your consciousness of Allah and how you practice and fulfill those obligations that Allah has imposed upon you. You can have 4 wives, but if you ain't providing for them, if you are not maintaining them, if they're not happy, if you're not treating them the way the Prophet and Allah command you to treat them, you going to hell. You ain't going to paradise. Where's my dalil? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any man who has more than 1 wife, if he was not just with them, if he did not treat them the way Allah commanded, he will stand before Allah on the day of judgment crooked, tip-sided. So that's your dalil, that just because you got a harem of women don't make you better than nothing. You just another man. Men are polygamous by nature. Men have always had many women. But like the Prophet told the companions, how many of you men are good to your wives? The way I am to mine, he said. So we don't measure our closeness to Allah with things that we don't have to do. We measure our closeness to Allah based on how we carry out the obligations that Allah has imposed upon us. And if we do voluntary deeds, are we doing them in accordance to Allah's laws, his rules, his regulations? Does everybody understand me? Don't get it twisted. This is not the land of Sufism. This is not the land of extremism. This is the land of traditional Islam with the understanding of the companions, not the understanding of anyone else. Is that clear? We have a question here. Assalamu alaikum. I'm getting ready to answer your question. I would like to know, polygamy is in whose fever? I don't understand this question. Whose what? Whose fever? Whose favor? It's polygamy is not a favor about anything, brother. It's something that you don't have to do. That's the whole point of my lecture. What makes you think that if you marry 2 women, you somebody special? You're going to stand before your Lord in chains, and you're going to be tip-sided. And you're going to be thrown in that hellfire if you abuse those women. That means you got more women that you're going to have to be accountable for. The more women that you marry, the more families that you have. That means that's more responsibility that you're going to answer to Allah for. So whose favor? I don't know. It ain't no favor at all to me. It's only a favor to you who don't understand what you're doing. And that's where we are today. We got Muslims that take parts of this religion and they indulge in them. They don't know what they're doing. They abuse it and they think that they better. What man ain't got more than 1 woman? I mean, come on. Even the Kafir men got women. Like the Prophet said, how many of you are good to them? How many of you treat them the way I treat mine? Are you treating your wives the way the prophet treated his? I gave y'all some examples yesterday as to how most men don't. Most men practice polygamy and they don't treat their wives right at all. They're not just with the time. I gave y'all some examples. I gave you right from the authentic Sunnah how the prophet treated his wives. How many of you men can say y'all living like that? All the brothers here was in shock. They was like, well, I didn't know that. Like the prophet said, don't sit around boasting and bragging about stuff like that. You know, you better learn how to practice this religion correctly, guys. Okay, so, but to answer your question, polygamy ain't a favorite or nothing to me. I'm not even there. I don't even know I don't understand what type of question that is. You're sounding like it's a charity. You know, some women don't want to be married. Like me, I'm single by choice. I wouldn't marry you. So whose favor? You ain't doing me no favor. Could care less. So I don't understand that type of question. But anyway, guys, so this is what this class is about. All my classes are to teach you how to practice your religion the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, not the way TLC television tells you how to do it. Not the way some kafir tells you how to do it. Not the way some man today tells you. Okay, so we talked about how for the man who embarks upon polygamy, he has to understand what he's embarking upon. It's a great responsibility because you're held accountable for all of those families. If you have 4 families, you're held accountable for everyone in those 4 families. Each wife, each child. And as we talked about yesterday, it's not just providing and maintaining and protecting, but it's the job of the man to lead the woman to paradise. You have to make sure that every household understands their religion. It's your job to assure that each wife understands her religion. And in turn, each child does too. And that they're practicing it, that they're living up to it. That's a great responsibility. So you're not just leading one family, you're leading 4. And a lot of these brothers today are not prepared to do that. Okay, I don't know. This person here is typing. Let me see what this person says. In today's world, people don't follow the example of, oh, here we go. I hear is if you can't, if he can't. Are you a woman or a man? First of all, this a new shahada? Are you a new to the Islam? Are you a new shahada? And are you male or female? Are you a new shahada? Because Islam is not, Allah tells you the conditions of, you're asking me about polygamy? What do you mean if he can't spend, if you feel feelings is not real it? What is this? I don't understand what this, does anybody understand what they are typing here?
I don't understand.
I don't understand what this person's asking me. It should be if you see he's not just. It's not. Who said anything about feelings? I don't know who you are, but I'm trying to accommodate you because it's obvious you don't know too much. No one here is talking about feelings. I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe, I don't know. This is a class I'm teaching on marriage in Islam. Okay? And we first started off talking about the valid marriage contract, the conditions of marriage. This is a fiqh class on marriage. This class has been going on for a year. I just began the topic of polygamy last week. And it's not about feelings. It's about, first of all, meeting the criteria and the conditions. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know if you a man or a woman or whatever. I don't understand. And I'm asking somebody else here. Maybe the person's a new shahada. I don't know. Okay. But Allah sets the laws and condition, not you, not me. Allah is the one that said the man has to be able. Allah says it in the Quran, not me. Allah says a man must be able to provide for his family financially. That's the law of Allah. That's not Layla's law. And then Allah says he must be just with his time. That's Allah's law. So if you are a Muslim, we practice this religion based on what Allah said, not based on your feelings. And if you got a problem with what Allah says, this is the wrong place. You go take it up with him, not with me. I'm a teacher. I'm a daya. It's my job to explain to you Allah's rules. If you don't like Allah's rules, that ain't my problem. Okay. So I don't understand. I'm trying to address the person, but I don't know what they're talking about. Okay. So anyway, those are the rules of polygamy, as we talked about yesterday and the last two sessions. The man must be able to provide, maintain, and protect. Allah is clear on that. And you're not just providing, maintaining, and protecting one household. If you take on polygamy, you're providing, maintaining, protecting 2, 3, or 4. And another thing is added. Since there's more than one family involved, you have to be just in your time and just in your treatment. I have to be just. If I'm going to spend 3 days with this family, I have to spend 3 days with the other families. Okay? I cannot renege on the time. And I have to be just in my treatment. As we talked about yesterday, I cannot favor these children over those children. I cannot favor this household over that household. These are the laws of Allah, not the laws of Layla. And if people have a problem with Allah's laws, I suggest you go make wudu, sit down and argue about it with him. Okay? Any questions about that? That's what we discussed yesterday. So we have to be just in our time, just in our treatment. And let's put the PowerPoint up for today's discussion. And again, this is the book. And I want you guys to go to the, those of you who have not yet purchased the book, you can go to Amazon.com, pick up a copy of the book. It's only $13. I don't think this person's even, what? Who told you that the prophet went 3 months without cooking in his house, but no one woman left him? I don't know what you're talking about. I think you got the wrong website. Okay, brother, you're a man? Then I don't know what you're here for, because I'm not here to talk about whatever you're talking about. I don't even understand what you're talking about. Who said that the prophet went 3 months without cooking? Who told you that? Islam is based on Quran and Sunnah. Either you provide the proof of what you say, and who said anything about leaving him? None of the prophets' wives divorced him. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm trying to accommodate you, brother, but you and I are on two different plateaus. I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds to me like maybe you here to fight with a woman. Did I mention anything about a woman leaving anybody? We're not talking about that. What prophet's wife left him? Who said that? You got me confused with another channel. Or are you mad at your 2, 3, 4 wives and you want to bash it out with me? I'll entertain you. I'm feeling kind of antsy today. So what are you talking about? I'm trying to accommodate you. What are you talking about? Who said anything about a woman leaving a man? Your wife left you? I tell you, this always turns into the Dear Abby column. So are you asking me, what do you do if your wife left you? Is that what you asking me, bro? Did your wife leave you or something? Oh, you do? You appreciate my teaching. Okay, but are you asking me a question? One woman left him. Can a woman today act like that? I think you're asking about a wife. If your wife left you, divorce her. I don't know what are you talking about. Oh, okay. Oh, you just got one. Okay, are you asking me a question? Maybe it's, do you speak English? Maybe it's a different country or something. I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're asking me. I mean, I thought I'm not teaching about that type of stuff. Hold on for a second. Let me order me something to drink. I need to order me some coffee. Hold on for a second, guys. This brother got me wanting to crack up and laugh. So let me put in an order because I got a lot of work to do after this class too. Hold on for a second, guys. I want to catch these people before it's too late. Okay, so I just didn't understand the question you're asking me about a woman leaving a man. None of the prophets' wives left him. Why would you leave him when you want to be the mothers of the believers in paradise? Okay, hold on. Wait a minute, hold on for a second, guys. Let me put this order in. There it is. And I'm going to get 2 of them. Hold on, let me add 2. And wait a minute. Oh, continue. And give me a second. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. It's okay, brother. I needed to order me something from DoorDash right quick anyway before it's too late. Okay, let's get started. Okay. All right, guys. So we went over the rules. We talked about being just with time and being just with the children and all of that. Well, today we're going to cover a little bit more about this topic. Hold on, let me put this up. Okay. Inshallah, you guys be able to see. I'm going to make this screen a little smaller. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. We're going to talk about jealousy. A lot of the people ask me about jealousy when it comes to polygamy. Even if you're not in a polygamous relationship. You know, we talked about the other day how Allah created women and men. Women are jealous by nature anyway. I'm a jealous woman. I get jealous if my cats show too much attention to somebody instead of me. Jealousy is part of being human. So how does it relate in a polygamous dynamic? That's what we're going to talk about today. Well, again, You often hear, you will hear a man tell his wife, stop being so jealous. You're too jealous. I'm tired of your jealousy. And this is not just in polygamous situations, just if you only got one wife, because that's the nature of a woman. Allah created women and men differently. Men are stronger than women physically, and men are stronger than women emotionally. That's a fact. Our prophets told us that. That's just the way Allah created us. Whereas women, we're able to control our desires of the low end better than a man. A woman can control her lust better than a man, but men can control their other emotions better than we can. So, when a man marries any woman, even if it's just one wife, it's her nature to be jealous. But the man needs to understand that. And he needs to be able to deal with it with wisdom. You want to be able to deal with a woman's jealousy with wisdom. And now that's just one woman. Imagine having 3 or 4 women. Each woman's jealousy has to be dealt with wisdom. In fact, the law commands us in the Quran, in Surah Nisa, men are reminded by Allah to treat their wives with kindness. Allah tells you in Surah Nisa to treat each of your wives with understanding and honor their emotions. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is our example. He did not dismiss or belittle his wife's jealousy. All his wives were jealous. Before he married Salama, when he asked her to marry him, that's one of the reasons she refused at first. She told him, I am an extremely jealous woman. She said, I am extremely jealous. And the prophet said, okay, I tell you what, I'll make dua, asking Allah to take it away. And so that's the only reason why, out of all the wives that the Prophet Muhammad had, Salama wasn't as jealous as the others, because the Prophet made dua, asking Allah to remove her jealousy. But we all know that Aisha, radiallahu anha, was extremely jealous. Also, we hear about Hafsa's jealousy. Also, we hear about the jealousy of Zainab. So, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the example of how not just to pray, but how to be a husband in a marriage. How to be a husband if you have multiple families. Each one of his wives was treated with respect. Each one of his wives was treated with dignity, and he addressed each one of their jealousies one-on-one with wisdom. And on the other hand, we women, whether you're in a polygamous marriage or not, we women need to be more aware of our jealousy and try to control it better. Okay? I work on my jealousy every day. Okay? You should work on yours every day, because it's all about developing that control to the point where you can earn the love and favor of Allah. Okay? So jealousy can be handled in any relationship, whether it's monogamous or polygamous, as long as you deal with it head on and deal with it under the guidance of Islam, of what Allah says and how the Prophet said to deal with it. One thing that stands out with me, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, O Prophet of Allah, if you look at yourself and see that you have some bad character, what can we do to get rid of it? The Prophet said, first of all, make dua, asking Allah to take that bad characteristic away. He said, secondly, surround yourself around people who don't have that characteristic. So if I'm a woman trying to deal with my jealousy, I'm going to make dua every day, asking Allah to give me control over it. And I'm going to surround myself with other women who are in my predicament, who are not jealous. And then the prophet said the third thing you can do to get over a bad characteristic is to pretend. Pretend that you don't have it. After pretending that you don't have it, it'll eventually not exist. So I encourage the women out there, it's what I do. I pretend a lot. I make dua every day, asking Allah to help me with my jealousy, if I'm using it as an example. And then I'll pretend to not be jealous. I'll pretend to not be jealous, so that way it'll eventually go away. Okay, so I encourage all Muslims to take advantage of the recommendation of our Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And just to show how, it's human and normal for a wife to be jealous, let's look at Aisha, radiyallahu anha. Aisha tells us that she was a very jealous person. She said, but I was never more jealous of any woman as I was Khadijah, who was the first wife of the Prophet, even though she said, I never met her. I never knew her. Okay? She said, but he used to mention her all the time. If ever somebody gave him a lamb as a gift, or if ever he slaughtered an animal, he would give part of it to her family and to her friends. She said, I was extremely jealous of this. Extremely jealous of this. Okay? She said, so here we can see that Aisha, who was his favorite wife after Khadijah, even she experienced jealousy. Okay, so for a man to think that a woman should not be jealous, you're asking us to change the nature of ourselves. What you should do as a man is what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did. Whenever he saw Aisha or any of his wives experiencing jealousy, he would comfort them. He would renew his love for them. He would let them know that they were special, that they were loved, and that they were the world to him, that there was something about them that no other woman had. For example, Aisha was extremely intelligent and also a virgin. Hafsa was the only wife that could read. How many of you knew that? Out of all the Prophet's wives, none of them knew how to read or write but Hafsa. The Prophet made her feel loved and special because of that. She'd sit there and read the Quran to him. He'd give her the words of the revelations and she'd write them down and read them to him. He made her feel special and unique because of that. Salama, she was a warrior like her cousin Khalid bin Walid. She was a strategist. He would sit down with her and discuss his problems on the job with her because she had a way of looking and seeing the big picture and knowing the details as to how to get there. So he made her feel special for that. Zainab, she was his first cousin. Not only did she look like him, but they had a lot in common. They enjoyed the nicer things like honey. And he would sit with her and enjoy honey with her and let her know how special she was, because out of all my wives, you understand my likes more than they do because we share so much in common. Safiya, whenever he went to her, he let her know, you are unique. You are my world because you are the daughter of a prophet. Out of all my wives, you are the only one that is a descendant of a prophet, and you're special for that reason. Maria the Copt, she was not even his wife. She was his right-hand possession. and the mother of his son Ibrahim. He made her feel special and loved and unique because out of all my wives, you are the one who is like Hajar. Everybody knew that Ibrahim was the Prophet Muhammad's hero, and his wife Hajar was a Copt. Maria was an Egyptian Copt. And he let her know that this is something unique that no other woman here has. So do you guys get it? This is how you keep a happy medium in regards to jealousy. If you're in a polygamous situation, each one of those wives should know that you love them. Each one of those wives should feel loved and cared for. Each one of those wives should feel unique in a way that none of the others are. That's how our prophet taught us. How many of you brothers do that? How many of you brothers that got 2, 3, 4 wives, when you go to visit them, I missed you. Oh, wow, you are so, you are a person of the dower. Oh, I can come and talk to you about this and that and that. I'm just giving examples. You make your wives feel unique and special and loved. So again, and you do it without belittling anyone. You do it without mentioning the other wives too. I got to know that I'm special without you trying to verbally compare me to anyone. The prophet didn't compare Aisha to Hafsa to Salama, or none of that. They knew it. They felt it. We have an authentic hadith where somebody asked I can't remember which wife, they asked one of the wives, it's a Muwatta hadith. They asked one of the prophet's wives, everybody knew that Aisha was the favorite. Did that bother you? It was Salama. Salama said, no, we all knew that we were loved and cared for. We all knew that we were special. We all knew that. Aisha may have been his favorite, but we all knew that we were loved and we were special in our way too. That's how the man should be. If you're going to do polygamy, each one of those wives should feel special and feel loved without you having to even name a favorite. Okay? So, jealousy. Managing jealousy is a challenge in any relationship, especially a polygamous relationship, but it can be managed. But you have to be a wise man to do it. You have to be a secure man to do it. And you have to be a man that can read your women, a man that knows each and every one of your wives. Okay? Because jealousy comes as a result of insecurity. Jealousy arises as a result of fear of inadequacy. You don't want your wives feeling inadequate. You don't want your wives feeling that they're being compared to another. So you have to make each one of your wives feel confident and secure in her relationship with you. And you do it by following the example of the Prophet Muhammad like he did. You play on that uniqueness. That's her. Because no two women are alike anyway. If you had 100 wives, none of them would be the same. We're all different. We all have our own personalities. Layla Nashiba is strong. Layla Nashiba is outgoing. Layla Nashiba is intelligent. Layla Nashiba is also sensitive. Layla Nashiba is also compassionate. Okay? That wife over there, she might be shy. She might be quiet. Intelligent. Okay? We're all different. There's going to be a time in your life when you need that intelligent, loud, outspoken wife. Then there's going to be a time where you need the soft, quiet one. The prophet used all his wives and when they were needed, and they knew when they were needed. Salama, the strategist. Aisha, the hope. Hafsa, the reminder. Maria the Copt, my enjoyment. SubhanAllah. Wow. What a man. You think about it, sisters, how many of us can find a man that knows us like that? The Prophet Muhammad knew his women. He knew all of their unique qualities. And he made each one feel like the world. Wow. What a man, what a man. I do gammy with him. I be number 2,000. So, the man has to, it's a hard job to be a man doing polygamy. You got to know your women. And you got to make sure that when that jealousy arises, you should ask yourself, am I doing my job as a husband? What am I doing that's causing my wife to feel insecure? What am I doing to cause my wife to feel inadequate? What am I doing to make my wife feel that she has to compare herself to someone else? That's a reflection on you. Remember, the prophet also taught us that a woman is a reflection of her husband, of her man. So what are you doing as a man that's causing your wives to feel jealous? And also as women, we have to communicate. It's very important in any marriage that the lines of communication are there, but even more so in a polygamous marriage. You have to communicate openly with your husband about your emotions. Let him know, I'm feeling bad right now. I feel like you don't care about me. I don't like the fact that when you was giving a lecture the other day, you mentioned one of your wives' names, but you didn't mention me. Why did you feel the need to mention her and you didn't mention me? I'm just giving examples. These are some of the things I hear people say that sisters come to me with. I never experienced this stuff, but I've had sisters say, Sister Layla, this brother went to a conference. He mentioned one of his wives, but it wasn't me. Why does he always talk about her and not me? Why does he mention her kids and not my kids? Oh, you brothers, y'all got to be careful with that. Okay? Because you're going to make that other wife feel inadequate. You're going to make that other wife feel like she's not special. So you sisters have to communicate. Communicate your feelings with your husband. Let him know that you feel that you're not special, that you're not important. And it's the job of the husband to reassure you or reassure all his wives that they are valued, that they are loved, that they are special, and that he has to show understanding to them all. He has to validate them all and give them all that security. So as you guys can see, polygamy is nothing easy. That's why I tell you guys, when you go to Muslim countries like the Middle East, you don't see that many people that practice polygamy. It's not that many people that's got 2, 3, 4 wives, because I'm telling you, you got to be a certain type of dude. Also, by supporting your wives emotionally, this will help you to resolve any conflicts that you have within the family dynamic. Because remember, guys, the children are always watching. You don't want your children to grow up a product of bad polygamy. You have to give them that emotional support that they need to make them feel validated, to make them feel special, so as to reduce the anxiety within the household. And also, it's going to require you being more empathetic. And also, just say you're sorry. As a man, you have to, even if you feel that you didn't do anything wrong, tell the wives you're sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for having you feel this way. I love you. You're special. You're mine. You're my boo, whatever y'all say. Okay, so those are the things I wanted to go over today. And again, polygamy is a part of our religion. It's good and clean if it's done correctly, if it's done the way the prophet did. Whenever we deviate away from the way the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam do things, that's when stuff becomes dirty. That's when stuff becomes bad. So don't blame it on the religion of Islam. Blame it on yourselves for deviating away from Islam. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Are there any questions or comments? How many of you brothers got questions about that? How many of y'all making them women feel special and loved and important? Or are you throwing some other wife up to them? They should never hear the name of another woman when you with them. They should never. You hear that, brothers? You should never mention the name of another woman when you with your wife. It should be all about her. She should be your world. And you should let her believe, make her believe that she is your world when you with her, not somebody else sharing a part of her world. That's how you trigger jealousy and polygamy. This is my day, my time. I don't want to hear about her. Why are you mentioning her? Why are you mentioning her in a khutbah? Why are you mentioning her to your friends? You never mention me to your friends. Oh, yeah. These are the complaints I get from sisters when they call me. That's married to some of you good brothers. Yeah. No questions or comments in Zoom? Yeah. Yes, exactly. One of the brothers here typed, he said, yeah, that's why I always say my wife. He said, I never name my wife. He said, if anybody asks me about my family, I never name a wife. I always say my wife is good. He said, I never give a name. I always say my wife. So nobody knows which one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, if there's no questions, and I'm going to close out for tonight, and I apologize for being late with the class. Tomorrow, inshallah, I don't know what's going to be happening with me. So inshallah, I'm saying inshallah. Tomorrow, we'll have the 6:30 class, which will be the allies of Allah. I'm going to give you guys a quiz too. And my 9 o'clock class is the it's the how to pray. Yes. Brother, what you want to come in the Zoom? Did you have a question for me, brother? Can you use a shorter name? Because I can't read your name at all. I think your name is As-Sadiq. Wait a minute. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Hello? Yes. Oh, are you at the door? Okay. Yeah, I got my my DoorDash order just came right on time after class. Yeah. Okay. Did you have a question, brother, that you wanted to ask? Yeah, and by the way, guys, yes, brother Anthony. Anthony. Oh, you wanted the new shahadas too? Make sure that the new shahadas, let me put that thing up here so y'all can see. For the new shahadas, so I can keep up, there's so many of y'all coming in here now. This is the link to the Facebook group that I just made. Where is it at? Here it is. New Shahada group. Please join it so I can keep an eye on you guys. You know, and I can help you with your questions and stuff. Yeah. Yes, yes. There's, like I said, you know, you new shahadas. You need to focus on your aqidah. And before you indulge in anything, even for the, you know, the sisters too, before any of you get married, because marriage in Islam is not like how they do it in the streets. You have to know the conditions of a valid marriage contract, which we covered in this class last year. You have to know that there's conditions, there's guidelines. You have to meet the criteria. Like I said, and you brothers have to be able to provide and maintain your families. You can't get married to no woman and throw her in the projects. We don't do that. You got to be able to provide and maintain. Otherwise, a righteous Muslim woman's not going to consider you brothers. Yes, get a J-O-B. Oh, you out the pokey? Oh, it's a different story. You straight out the pokey. Okay. Okay, you're going to join the group. Yeah, join the Facebook. You took Shahada when you was in prison? Oh, God, I got a lot of them too, yeah. Oh, really? The imam in the prison told you to join my classes? Oh, the guy that comes to the, okay, yes. Oh, okay, I know who you're talking about. MashaAllah, may Allah bless him. Yes, he told you that since you got out to join my group to learn. Okay, yes. That's the link to the new Shahada group on Facebook. Yes. Yeah, and just come to my classes. My Aqidah classes every day at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then this is my 9:30 class. We also have classes with Dr. Ibrahim Dramali. We have a class with Brother Muhammad Ziyada. We got Dr. McBride that's been speaking about the brain. And Dr. Assam handles Quranic studies. Yeah. Yeah, but my classes are the most important for you. The two most important classes are the Aqidah classes that I'm teaching here. Because that's what's going to help you get through the grave. That's what's going to help you to get to paradise. Okay? All right. Okay, there's no other questions or comments. I'm going to log out for tonight so I can finish doing these videos. Okay, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.